Hey, you're with TheEZGZ. Just taking a little break from the engine build, uploading a video, stepped outside, and I see something interesting across the street. I think most of you guys might think so too. Let's go take a look. Hope there's no pit bull sitting in the front seat. Man, ever since I saw that, what was that 60s movie? Oh, I can't think. It was The California Kid, but there was another one too. Grease, or whatever the hell it was. Oh, this looks nice. Looks like it just come out of mothballs. It kind of gives it that rat look. I love that. I like people that have stuff they use, you know? They don't just make a show car and then coddle it and park it in the garage. Oh man, this looks sweet. Really sweet. Yeah. I wish I could hear it run. The other day I was going to add a picture of the Karmann Ghia, but I didn't have it in the memory of the computer I was using, so I couldn't do that. And I thought I'd take this opportunity just to show you some shots of the little Karmann Ghia that I had. This is a 64. This is when I sold it. I had a 1600 dual port, and I just put a big cone filter down there from the air cleaner. You can see on top the 4 holes going through the deck lid. I always regretted doing that. But when I had the 2110 in there for a long time, and I thought it was having heating issues, so I thought I could get a little bit more air because the original inlet was designed for that smaller engine back in the day, and I was hitting it pretty hard. And actually I was drag racing it up in Grand Junction. I remember taking it to the strip, and the first pass I went through, probably topped out in 3rd gear, and they have a short braking area at the end of the track, and I was able to hit that first breakaway to come back to the pits. And at the time they were doing these time trials, and the brakes got hot, and the next time I went farther, and the next time I almost went off the track, and it's up on top of a mesa. It was pretty scary, so I kind of backed off then, and I said the heck with it. But anyhow, I thought I'd let you take a quick look at it, and I had a devil of a time selling that car. It was a beautiful car. It never got any respect. I'd take it to little car shows and neighborhood things that we had around here, and people would look at the Chevy Nova all day long next to it and be sitting on my car practically. And other times people would come up, and I would come back to my car to get something, and there would be people picking on my flames. They thought they were a decal. The guy had painted them on there and put all this clear over it, and honest to God, people would be picking on the edges of those flames to see if they were real or not. But it was a fun ride, and I had it for many years. I coddled it. It was a garage queen. I did take it back and forth to work, but it was very low to the ground, hard to get in and out, and I'm not a very big person, and wasn't very comfortable for long trips, but it was very fast, and it was very quiet on the highway. I used to take it, I took it from Grand Junction down I-70 to Denver. Had to go over Vail Pass, Loveland Pass. I had my 1776 sand engine there for years as well, and it would pull in 4th gear all the way up over those passes. Just barely. You better not get anybody slow in front of you, and you better get some momentum up. You better hit it at 75 or 80 in order to get over that pass, but I was just trying to prove a point to myself, and it was a fun ride. I know I'm all over the map as usual. One day I was working on something, had the Karmann Ghia in the driveway, and this guy was walking his dog down the street with his wife, and he says, "Hey, like your Volkswagen," he says, "I got a Porsche." He says, "I'll bring it by sometime, you can check it out." And I said, "Yeah, sure, you know, didn't think too much of it. About a half hour later, he shows up with this 356, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was a 64, and it was all stock, man. It was sweet, and he let me take it for a drive, and it was a wonderful car. He made me slam on the brakes just to show me how excellent the disc brakes worked on that thing, and they were wonderful. The other thing I noticed extremely obvious to me was how tall the gearing was in this thing. First gear was like halfway between first and second. It was kind of like a close ratio. Either that or the power in the engine just made it feel like it was a close ratio. And of course, he was sitting in the car. It's somebody else's car. I wasn't pounding on it or nothing, but he let me take it around the lake, and I really enjoyed that ride. And it wasn't too much longer after that. I found out where he lived, and I'd go by his house every once in a while, never see him around. But it was a garage queen, but it was a really sweet little, I believe it was a 64 356 Porsche. And that day he brought it over to the house. I says, hey, pull it over here on the grass, and I'll put the Karmann Ghia next to it, so I'd do a side-by-side shot. So that's what you're looking at here. And I remember he was just agonizing over scraping something on the bottom of that thing. And my driveway's not very sloped, but he almost took forever to back out of the driveway because he was so afraid he was going to scrape on his exhaust or something. And it's funny how we act that way with our toys and precious things. Speaking of Karmann Ghias, I don't know if anybody remembers this guy in our group from a few years ago. I had this up on a video. He has a Baja Karmann Ghia, and it was awesome. I think he still has it. Climbing up this hill, he's got these big Terra tires on it, but he's got it sitting up high, and I think he's got a good sized motor in that thing too, as I recall. But one day we went out and we saw this little pile of dirt on the side of the road. Couldn't resist it. This is just a picture I got off the Samba, but I thought it was a pretty cool shot of a off-road Karmann Ghia. I hope there's no copyright restrictions, and I apologize, but I have no clue of who to ask if it's okay to post this. I don't know if it was in their for sale section or they were just doing show and tell. Here's my little dune buggy. I put everything I had up for sale. The Harley, the Miata, the Karmann Ghia, the dune buggy, the Lightning. I had them all on Craigslist. I just had to downsize, and I asked the good Lord, I says, I can't decide. I can't part with this stuff. I don't know what to do. I said, just whatever you leave me with when we're all done, that's what I'll keep. And as it turned out, he wants me to be a Volkwagen Maniac. So anyhow, hope you enjoyed the little sideshow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. TheEZGZ out.